Okay, my name is Zac Wright. I'm part of 237 Utah Reenactment Group, and I'm dressed as an American, portraying a German, and my job was to train GIs on what Germans wore, their tactics, rations, and obviously what they look like. We start over on this side. We've got our simple eating and drinking equipment, so our cup, our mess tin with your knife, fork and spoon inside, water bottle, and then we move on to explosives, so our hand grenades. So we have our stick grenade, so First World War design, reliable but didn't produce enough shrapnel to be deadly. Later on they made the egg grenade, same concept explosive, just it shrapnated, so it was a deadlier grenade, bit lighter to carry as well. Then we move on to the boot knife, or the fighting knife. Obviously don't need to explain too much what that was used for, but nothing nice. Then we move on to the MG42 cleaning kit. So inside you would have a glove for changing barrels, you'd have cleaning rods, just to clean, to make sure the gun didn't break in the field. We move on to the gas mask tin. So these two are 1940 dated.
A lot of people don't realise that they thought we would drop poison gas on them.
Yeah.
It's all like in school, educators are one way, isn't it? They were going to drop poison gas on us.
Yes.
But actually, we could have easily dropped it on them.
We could have. I mean, the Germans, except for the early part of the war when they were taking Poland and obviously certain parts of France, there was gas used, not to obviously the extremes that everyone thinks. So we carried them as a precaution against Americans, British, using our tactics to obviously disable us in the field. Right in the centre is our early pattern German helmet, so our M32 with the crimped over rim. Later on it did change where they didn't bother because it was cheaper and quicker to make them, but it's painted in Normandy three-tone camo. So in the field, in the Battle of France, it meant you could move without really being spotted.
What is the yellow item?
This thing,
I've not seen that before.
this is a rifle grenade for the,
Oh, of course it is, I've got it now.
the K98, so it would fit right on the end of the Mauser rifle. And then obviously,
Explain how that would have worked, then that would have had
so you would have had a cup on the end.
Oh yes.
Obviously then that would slot in the cup. You would open up your breech, put a blank ballistite charge in. Once you pulled the trigger, that would then fly off, hit whatever it's going to hit, and then explode. Ideal, but they were just expensive to make, so you don't see many of them. Then we move on to the iconic MG42.
It's not a sniper, is it?
No, so this is your heavy machine gun.
Is that called a grass cutter?
No, so this was nicknamed Hitler's buzzsaw. Hitler's buzzsaw.
That's right. Something like that.
So it was the fastest rate of fire machine gun that there was in the Second World War, whereas a British Bren gun or an American 30 caliber would shoot 500 to 600 rounds a minute. The MG42 would shoot 1,200 rounds a minute and could be modified to shoot 2,300 rounds a minute with the right amount of gear. Only downfall with this gun, it came in 250 round belts.
Didn't last long.
Didn't last long at all, but it was more of a terror weapon towards the Allies, because just the sound alone was enough to make them obviously duck. Then we have a bit of an oddity weapon. This is the FG42. So this was used by German paratroopers. It was an experimental weapon, basically where they wanted to mix the K98 with the MG. Very good gun, had a bayonet that fitted underneath, so that would slot in underneath, it could slot on the top. but just really expensive to produce, so they weren't around for long. But it's the first equivalent bullpup rifle. And then right down on the front, without getting too close, we got basic cooking and eating supplies. So you've got 2 German chocolates. You've got your dark chocolate and your milk chocolate, whereas German chocolate didn't taste brilliant, to be honest. You didn't have the amount of sugars and stuff that you had in American chocolate. And then you have your little hexamine cooker, which the German word for it was the Esbit, and that would fit in your bread bag, which is where all your equipment will go. And your Esbit would fit in this little pocket here for simple cooking supplies in the field. Like I said, they still use the hexamine cooker now. It's a reliable little heat source for combat. You've got your fat dish for carrying lard or butter for cooking. And then you move on to an earlier pattern water bottle and entrenching tools.
Thank you very much for your time.
That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much.